Okay, that's all for today, class. Don't forget your reports tomorrow. See you and goodbye.
Paano ba kung marxism na to? Gusto ko naman sa mag-report. Okay, hindi lang nakapag-o-okay, tatanggalin ka. Ay, kainis. Nakakainis talaga kahit ilang beses kong basahin to, wala pa rin akong maintindihan. Mamaya na to. Tutulog na muna ako. Ate, excuse me po ha. Ito kasi mukhang mabait dito eh, pero ano po bang lugar to?
What rights do a slave like you have to talk to a person like me?
Aba, teka. Anong slave? Ikaw nga mukhang scammer. I'm just asking questions.
Who's your master? He should punish you for crossing the line. Please, good for another slave.
Slave? I'm not a slave, you idiot.
I think I have the full rights to execute her punishments, madam. I apologize for her rudeness. Just a newly bought one.
Alright, I should go now. And please train your slave to act like one.
Aba, tikong ka.
Please come here. That.
Never mind. Answer my questions first. Where am I? Who are you? And what's happening? Thank you, sir, for helping me even though I don't know you.
Don't mention it, and I'm Karl Marx.
Wait, Karl Marx? That sounds familiar. Karl Marx, as in the father of Marxism, German philosopher, sociologist, economist, historian, kung ano-ano pang eme.
You're funny. I can't really understand some of the words that coming out from your mouth, but yeah, some of what you said is true.
So what now? Can you explain me what's happening? Am I just dreaming?
Maybe your behavior is the effect of traumatic experiences, but let me tell you one thing, that in this time, you should know your place or else you will get in trouble.
What? Wala. Pabaliw na ata ako kakabasa sa libro ng Marxism.
Anti-capitalism! 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 Наша Родина! СССР!
Путин является преступником. Путин не может содержать власть в своих руках, потому что он...
Ano namang nangyayari dito? Ba yung sa lugar nyo, daming ganap, mga galit na galit ang mga person.
The people are starting to see the wrongs in the system. And unfortunately, I believe that revolution isn't enough. Abolition of the system is the best solution I can do. Now, let me tell you the details regarding the situation.
Wala, ano yun? Hindi ko masyadong gets, tsaka pinapakontinue ko pa yung sasabihin ni Kuya Carl eh. Teka, dito na ako sa amin? Doon pa lang ng hating gabi? Hala, hindi ko sure kung panaginip ba yun, parang totoo eh.
Ano ba naman yan, nak? Gabing-gabi na, magpatulog ka naman.
Ay, sorry po, good night! Ang gagawin ko? Di ba pala ako tapos sa report?
There are 5 historical developments in Marxism. First is the class struggle, which conflicts the heart of capitalism. Second, the dictatorship of the proletariat, wherein the goal of the working class is to gain control of political power. Third is communism, that became part of the canon of the Soviet bloc in 20th century. Fourth is the internationalism, or the workers of the world unite. And lastly, the opium of the people, which originates from the introduction of Marx's work, a contribution to the critique of Hegel's philosophy of right. That's all for historical development, and thank you.
So the basic ideas behind Marxism are the following: exploitation and alienation, labor theory of value, based on superstructure, and lastly, class consciousness. Ang una na nga dito ay yung exploitation at alienation. Isa si Karl Marx sa mga against sa idea of capitalism dahil nga isa daw itong system that alienates the masses. According sa kanya, alienation is the process whereby the worker is made to feel foreign to the products of his or her own labor. Sinasabi niya na capitalism has separated people from their genuine or essential natures. Bakit? Dahil naniniwala kasi si Karl Marx na works makes us human. Nakakatulong daw to para ma-fulfill yung essence natin. Nakakatulong para maging creative tayo at sa pag-flourish ng isang tao. Kaya dapat na magamit ito to the fullest extent. Pero iba yung nangyari noong 19th century sa Europe. Ang mga workers ay alienates gawa ng capitalism sa una, it alienates humans from the product of their own. Pangalawa, alienates workers from the process of labor. Pangatlo, alienates from fellow human beings. At pangapat, workers are alienated from themselves. Ang pangalawa naman ay ang labor theory of value. Ang labor theory of value ay unang na-develop ni Adam Smith, founder ng modern capitalism. Kilala ang LTV bilang major pillar of traditional Marxian economics. Simple lang yung sinasabi dito. Kumbaga, yung value ng isang commodity o product ay dapat na itugma sa average number of labor hours na kinakailangan para ma-produce yung isang commodity or product na yon. So halimbawa, kung 4 na oras ginagawa ang isang sapatos at 2 oras naman ginagawa ang isang pants, then dapat ay mas doble ang halaga ng isang sapatos kaysa sa pants. Pangatlo naman ay ang base at superstructure. Ito ay dinevelop ni Karl Marx at sinasabi ng dalawa ay magkalink na theoretical concepts. Para sa kanya, every society also consists of 2 basic elements. Yun nga yung base at superstructure. The term base refers to the production forces or the materials and resources that generate the goods that society needs. All other aspects of society such as religion, politics, and culture are referred to as superstructure. Basta anything na walang direktang kinalaman sa production of goods ay superstructure. Ano nga bang link ng dalawa sa isa't isa? In-argue ni Marx ng superstructure daw ay grows out of the base at nag-reflect sa capitalist or ruling class interest. Sinasabi rin na maaaring makaapekto ang superstructure sa base at ganoon din naman ang base sa superstructure. Sinasabi rin na ang dalawa ay parehas na social creations at will continue to evolve. Basta lagi lang tatandaan na base shapes the superstructure at superstructure maintains the base. At ang panghuli naman ay ang class consciousness. Ito ay tumutukoy sa pagkakalam mo kung saang social class or economic class ka nabibilang. According na rin kay Karl Marx, ang class conflict ay nakasenter sa class consciousness. Ano yung conflict na yon? Ito yung conflict between sa proletariat o yung mga workers at bourgeoisie o yung may-ari ng production, mga kapitalista kumbaga. Yung mga bourgeoisie, sila yung may control sa mga proletariat at maaaring matapos lang daw to kapag nagkaroon ng working revolution. Kaya dapat na ma-enhance yung revolutionary power ng working class na kung saan pwede lang mapatalsik ang mga kapitalista. Paano naman mangyayari yon? Mangyayari lamang daw yon kapag ang mga workers ay na-achieve na yung pagiging class conscious kasi kapag class conscious na sila, in that way, magiging united sila in terms of idea, magkakaroon sila ng collective idea, ganun. At syempre, magkakaroon ng collective political action to bring out social change. Social change na kung saan pwede silang gumawa ng isang classless society na kung saan ang lahat ay pantay-pantay.
Classical Marxism theory. Classical Marxism refers to the economic, philosophical, and sociological theories that expounded by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels noong mid to late 19th century. Central to these theories ay nakapaloob ang mga key driver of historical change, which is the struggle between different classes of society. with the ruling class na tinatawag na bourgeoisie na kung saan ay ina-exploit ang working class na tinatawag namang proletariat. This exploitation creates a fundamental conflict between the interests of the two classes na maglilid sa pagkakaroon ng revolutionary overthrow of the capitalist system and the establishment of a socialist or communist society. So in this new society, the means of production will be owned collectively and used to meet the needs of all the members of the society, rather than to generate profits for small elite. So, pag sinabi nating Orthodox Marxism, Orthodox Marxism refers to the various theories and ideologies derived from the works of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels nga din, that maintain a relatively strict adherence to their original ideas and principles. These theories often emphasize the role of economic factors in shaping society and advocate for the abolition of private ownership of the means of production as a means of achieving a classless socialist society. Kumbaga ay nakikita nila ang history as a series of class struggles na mayroong ultimate goal para magkaroon ng revolution and establishment of socialist or communist society.
Modern communism. According to this German philosopher, society is split into classes. The majority of people belongs to the working class, also known as the proletariat, and they are employed by the ruling class, also known as the bourgeoisie. Therefore, the majority of the land, mines, factories, and other resources used to generate food, fuel, and other things were owned by these people. The ruling class became wealthy as a result of sales revenue. The proletariat, or the working class, served the ruling class as they became wealthy, while the bourgeoisie, or ruling class, became poorer. So the bourgeoisie, or ruling class, received assistance from the government, police, and armed force in defending their financial interests and social dominance. Marx said that a class struggle was going on between the ruling class and the working class. Eventually, the working class, or the workers, would be able to stand this no longer. Then, they would join together in a revolution to get rid of the ruling class. After getting rid of the ruling class, the workers would take controls of the government and run the country for the benefits of the worker. So this would be socialist society, but because the old ruling class might try to get their money and power back. A strong government would be needed for some time. Everyone would eventually learn to embrace this new social structure. Government and law enforcement would no longer be required. The people would live under a communist system, and the government would no longer exist. Stalinism. Joseph Stalin is one of the man of steel, the Georgian Leo of the Jose, who was considered by many as someone who can be compared to Adolf Hitler. But what was Stalin's belief, and what really Stalinism is? Well, to understand Stalinism, we must understand first who is Joseph Stalin. So Uncle Joe, as he's known, led to Soviet Union from 1924 until his death on 1953, establishing the nations as the second most powerful in the world. So before he died, even though early on, Stalin had to deal with many families all across the Soviet republics, especially in Ukraine. So the USSR had also been severely destroyed after the Second World War, and Stalin would need to deal with the decades-long Cold War, where he engaged in proxy warfare with the United States of America. Yet he is considered as very controversial and authoritarian, and had fallen out with many socialist leaders at the time. This list included Mao Zedong, who wanted to overtake Stalin's leadership and authority. Joseph brought Tito, whose style and tried to assassinate multiple times, while Leon Trotsky, who Stalin successfully assassinated, and the president of Mongolia, who had slapped Stalin in the face. So it's safe to say that he isn't very popular among certain communities and people. But what his really belief, and how does it differ from Marxism, Leninism, and to other socialist ideologies? So, Stalinism is often defined as totalitarian, economically far-left ideology. It believes in rapid industrialization, social commodity production, and a totalitarian state and collectivization of agriculture.
Marxism holds that the conflict between social classes, specifically between the bourgeoisie or capitalists and the proletariat or workers, defines economic relations in a capitalist economy and will lead ultimately to a communist revolution. Karl Marx ay isa sa mga naniniwala na meron talagang nakahati talagang ang komunidad sa dalawa, ang working class tsaka ang bourgeoisie, at doon ay mas sinusuportahan niya na dapat magkaroon ng enough na karapatan ang mga working class in a way na makukuha nila yung rights na yun through a revolution. Socialism is predicated on the idea of government control and ownership of the means of production, while private property ownership is still permitted, whether they are democratic, technocratic, oligarchic, or dictatorial. Socialist reform has not emerged from a class revolution, but rather has developed within them. A method of production known as capitalism is one in which owners of businesses or capitalists hold all production-related assets, the factory that was the machineries and even the raw materials, and the final product and profits earned from their sales. Employees are engaged for a salary, they do not own the business, and they do not receive any of the profits. Ito yung pinapractice mostly sa mga bansa dito sa world. Even sa Pilipinas, pinapayagan yung tayo isang kapitalistang bansa kung saan pwede namin sarili kang business. Hindi ganun kalaki yung role na piniplay ng gobyerno when it comes to private ownership. Very good, guys. I'm impressed. Nagawa niyo ng maayos ang mga reports na inassign ko sa inyo. Excuse me, Miss Andres. Nagawa ko na ba yung report na naka-assign sa'yo? Yes po, ma'am. That's unexpected, pero good job. You may now proceed on reporting.
Good morning, everyone. Since nabanggit na halos ng naunang group yung Marxism, I will just share my analysis. Yun yung kwento ni Kuya Carl. So the main idea from Marxism that started, of course, by Kuya Karl, Karl Marx, is that abolition is the cause of capitalism. Capitalism is mainly the cause of the inequality of workers, that the master slavery was still in action. This problem of getting low wages, harsh treatment, unemployment, and such won't just be solved by improving the conditions of the workers themselves. An example of this is the concept proposed by Vladimir Lenin. He's a political leader, major political thinker, founder of the Bolshevik Party in 1903, and also the leader of the Soviet Union. He became a Marxist in 1889, and some of the ideas of Marxism were used and compounded by Lenin himself. He said that only a revolutionary party could lead the working class from trade union consciousness to revolutionary class consciousness. His ideas is about the democratic centralism, or the idea of the vanguard party, which is revolutionary and achieves to attain dictatorship of the proletariat. Going back, overthrowing the capitalist system is to move to another system, and in that case, Marxism is the final solution.
One, two, three, four. Baby,